The only thing that's been funnier in the post-election than watching all of these libloons on places like TikTok have their absolute meltdowns is going back and rewatching the so-called political analysts and experts and their predictions of what a bad night it was going to be for Donald Trump.
I don't want to go back to 2016, but you obviously predicted at the time that Trump would win. Last month, you wrote Trump is toast. We're almost 48 hours out from perhaps seeing our first results, but do you stand behind that today?
Oh, even more so. I just keep wondering the gift that the Trump campaign keeps giving us. I don't think they realize, I don't think they really are in touch with where the majority of Americans are at. And I think that they are going to be very surprised. I'm talking about the Trump people and the MAGA nation by what's going to happen on Tuesday. Not only do I feel, to answer your question 10 minutes later, that I feel the same way that I felt a few weeks ago that Trump is toast. Absolutely.
Hey, Mike, how'd that all work out anyway?
Let's get ready to rumble! You can't handle the truth. Somebody to the top of the line!
Hi, I'm Pastor Marty, and this is the Afternoon Drive. Please make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. Once you are, smack the bell, click the word all. That will give you notification of my rants, my ravings, my undeniably flawless reasonings. Hey, please like and share this video. It's the only way that we can get the word out that we're here. Thank you so much for watching and being a part of the Afternoon Drive. So Michael Moore, the guy that gave us Roger and Me, which was a big expose documentary about how it literally devastated places like Indiana and Michigan when General Motors downscaled. That would be outsourcing jobs to other countries. Kind of like Donald Trump is trying to bring jobs back by putting things like tariffs on those goods and those products that Michael Moore, he's against that. Why, it helps the American consumer to be able to buy those goods cheaper from China. But that's not what he was saying back in the day when he was defending all of the people who were thrown out of work and losing their homes, etc., because that gave him his first documentary. And then from there, of course, we had to see the great healthcare system of Cuba in sicko. Then, of course, there was Fahrenheit 9/11 and Bowling for Columbine. And, Michael Moore, like a lot of people, don't know when their time of relevance has passed. It's kind of like that athlete that hangs around too long and he begins to embarrass himself, even though at one time he was a world-class athlete. Say what you want about Michael Moore. He knew how to tap into a certain part of America. He thinks of himself as a man of the people. Every once in a while, he does come out with something incredibly profound. He was the one that called the 2016 election correctly. And he really understands that this whole thing of the Green New Deal, that, you're never really going to be able to empower an entire city by wind or solar, that fossil fuel is actually needed. And, he didn't get well received by the ilk on his side because, well, he actually showed a little bit of common sense. But, when you have all these people around you telling you that you're so smart all the time, you begin to believe your own propaganda. Kamala, listen to this. I'm helping you now. You start to listen to your own propaganda rather than take an honest assessment of what's what. Michael Moore sees himself as this champion man of the people. Yeah, okay. We haven't really heard from him since the election. Now, we know that some people were, raging on social media. Others obviously turned to drugs and alcohol. I did hear a report. I cannot confirm this. I've got the Afternoon Drive investigative team looking into this for corroboration. But we did hear about that just outside Kalamazoo, Michigan, a rather large, slovenly dressed man in a Detroit Lions hat went into a local fast food eatery and basically about 145 double cheeseburgers later ate himself into a coma, which we are hearing rumblings it could have been death by overeating, suicide by overeating. Don't know if that was Michael Moore or not. We're waiting for corroboration on that. But here's Michael with his predictions just before the election and how that all worked out. Enjoy.
You know, I don't want to go back to 2016, but you obviously predicted at the time that Trump would win. Last month, you wrote Trump is toast. We're almost 48 hours out from perhaps seeing our first results, but do you stand behind that today?
Oh, even more so. I just keep wondering the gift that the Trump campaign keeps giving us. I don't think they realize, I don't think they really are in touch with where the majority of Americans are at. And I think that they are going to be very surprised. I'm talking about the Trump people and the MAGA nation by what's going to happen on Tuesday. Not only do I feel, to answer your question 10 minutes later, that I feel the same way that I felt a few weeks ago that Trump is toast. Absolutely.
NBC News now officially projecting that Donald Trump has won the presidency.
So we're estimating in Michigan, possibly we need 40,000 votes of the 40,000 Arab and Muslim Americans they're not going to vote for Trump.
At this Arab Americans for Trump election night watch party, they erupted in cheers at Donald Trump's win. This would have been unthinkable in Trump's last two elections. Michigan's Arab population, the largest in the nation, had thoroughly rejected Trump. This time, he earned about 43% of Michigan's Arab voters, compared to about 38% for Kamala Harris.
It's not. We're gonna win Michigan. I believe we're gonna maybe eke it out, but that's because there's 2 million non-voters there. And for the last 2 months, my friends and I, and a group I put together, we have been getting out the non-voter, what I call the non-voter party, which is our second largest party in the country. Get them to get enough thousands of them to vote, get enough thousands of the people who left the top line blank in 2016. And maybe we can make up for the votes of the people that cannot in good conscience bring themselves to do this. But there's enough of us left to make up for that and to help Kamala Harris over the finish line.
Michigan now officially projected to go to Trump. What more do we know?
Yeah, ABC is now projecting that Michigan will go for Donald Trump.
Michigan now officially projected to go to Trump. What more do we know?
Yeah, ABC is now projecting that Michigan will go for Donald Trump.
But do you think if Donald Trump were to lose on Tuesday, it is going to be the end of Trumpism, or is this going to be the new hallmark of the Republican Party going forward?
Great question. It'll be the end of Trumpism if we have a huge vote. This is why I'm begging people in California, New York, places where you already know the vote, Idaho, don't think that your vote doesn't count. It really counts. We need to run up that popular vote as high as possible. One thing Trump understands is crowd size. And we need to, so Biden beat Trump by 7 million last time. We got to beat Trump by 10 million, 17 million, 20 million this time.
You also have won the popular vote. That was great. Very proud of it. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Winning the popular vote was very nice, very nice. This was a movement like nobody's ever seen before.
Donald Trump celebrating perhaps the greatest political comeback of all time, elected the 47th president of the United States.
And more importantly, he's going to win the popular vote.
Winning not only the Electoral College, but the popular vote too. Gaining support in more than 90% of counties nationwide.
That the Trump campaign has made a horrible mistake in thinking that after Dobbs, you just get the mail vote. We got to go get the mail vote. Well, that's not going to make up for the tsunami of women who have been out at early voting and who are going to be there on Tuesday. And, you know, Trump says we control the weather. I want him to keep thinking that, because I think what we have created is a large, huge turnout of female voters. They are going to save this country. Thank God for the women of this country, and they need to be. We need to listen. We've had 250 years of nobody in the White House who's a woman. That's 250 years of gender apartheid. It ends this week. What a great week to be alive. That's what I wanted to say. And thank you, Eamon, for who you are and what you do.
The road to the presidency runs not through the far left, it runs through the center left, which is where the most of the country is.
Exit polls showed Democrats lost major ground to black men, suburban women, and first-time voters, and a stunning loss of support from Latinos, who helped carry Biden to victory in 2020. Exit polls showed Democrats lost major ground, suburban women.
And I think that they are going to be very surprised. I'm talking about the Trump people and the MAGA nation by what's going to happen on Tuesday. Not only do I feel, to answer your question 10 minutes later, that I feel the same way that I felt a few weeks ago that Trump is toast. Absolutely.
Gentlemen, Ciccolini here may talk like an idiot and look like an idiot, but don't let that fool you. He really is an idiot.
Thanks, Michael. You're making it very entertaining.